but the tanks are full. So they either clamped off a hose or they pulled the fuel pump hose and just ran it till it ran out of gas. So the oil's fresh, the antifreeze is fresh, the carburetors are dry. I hate to do this. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to take the carburetors and I'm going to douse the crap out of them with carburetor cleaner. I cannot think of the name of it. So my bowl and my float are very easy. You guys tell me, what's the name of the valve that opens and closes for the float as it goes up and down?
What, the butterfly valve?
Yeah, thank you. No, not butterfly valve. The float valve.
Venturi?
Not Venturi, the float valve. So when the float drops, it opens up a valve to load more fuel. That was a little sticky. So maybe I'm going to carb clean the crap out of these things and put them all back together. They're not that hard to get back off the car. I don't want to rebuild them because if you rebuild them, you got to readjust the jets and tune, and there's 4 of them. So you got to do left and right, front and back, and then you got to keep going. There's a guy on YouTube. He just bought one in Europe. He calls it the Influenzo because of the flu and because of Enzo Ferrari. I think it's great. He calls it the Influenzo 308. He bought it a month ago. And he has his latest video is him tuning the carbs. He's got this little device that sits on top of the car, measures like airflow and meter, and you tweak it. I don't know how to do all that. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to put it all together, carb clean the shit out of it before I do that, and keep my fingers crossed. So sorry I took you down a path I didn't mean to take you down there. So but Mason's a few lines.
Let me ask you this. You're talking about the cooling lines. What's your guys' opinion of those silicon cooling lines?
Awesome.
Good question.
I hate them.
Why? I don't know anything about them. I'm curious why.
Every one I've had on my car, whenever I first did the pressure test on it, every one of them leaked. It was the hardest thing. You had to crank them down so tight to get them to actually seal. I ended up taking mine off and just buying a stick of the
rubber set.
Yeah, 1 1/4 inch from Advance the other day, and I put the rubber ones on there. It's been perfectly fine.
Really?
Those silicone ones, man, they're horrible.
I mean, I had to crank mine down, definitely, but once I got them cranked down, I've never had a leak on it, ever.
Yeah, I still have my original rubber sets, and I think I'm starting to get, I don't have any coolant leaks, but I am starting to get some of that seeable coolant where it's like turning like crusty yellow. Like I can see it's starting to come out, but it's not visibly leaking yet, and it's not torn. And I'm thinking, well, if I go through and I do everything, I'm probably just going to do everything in silicon. But I didn't realize they were like, you have to clamp them down harder or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not as flexible as rubber.
Really?
So, yeah, they're definitely a harder material.
I don't know. Mine were just the opposite. Mine were real flexible. In fact, I got one. I'll pick it up here in a minute.
Do you have to have special clamps for silicone hoses, too? They can't have any holes in them. Otherwise, the material starts to ooze through the hose clamps.
Okay.
I'd say the best silicone hoses to get are the ones that go to the water pump and then the coolant bottle, and that's about it. The rest of it, you can just buy Gates rubber hose for really cheap and cut them yourself.
Yeah, so here's this one here I bought from Advance. It's a regular Dayco. 76 125. It's 1 1/4 inch. It comes in a 3-foot thing. I think I paid like $26 for it. And then I just use a regular, I think I got it right here, regular old, hose cutter on there.
Yep.
But here's the silicone one. And I mean, it was just, I had the regular, the silicone hose clamps, and I had to crank them down just so tight. I felt like I was going to break the clamp on it.
Really?
But they just, every one of them leaked. And I said, man, I'm good. DPI is where I got these from.
Well, so I bought the DPI kit, and I never had a problem at them. I mean, the first time I pressure tested it, I had some leaks here and there, but I like I said, I cranked them down hard, but once I got them cranked down, I never had a problem out of them.
Even the thickness, though, I mean, you can see the thickness of the rubber compared to the silicone. It just, I don't, even the guy, whenever I went down there to buy it, I said, I think the 1 1/4, and I kind of took one of these down there. And he kind of laughed at me. He said, yeah, it feels like it's got soap inside of it. They're very slick on the inside of them.
Well, I saw somewhere there's a glue or a type of thing that you can, almost like a PVC type, where you run it through there first. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I just put these on just like regular old hoses. And I mean, even taking them off, I said, oh, it's going to be a bear getting these off to change it back out. And I took the clamp off, and I just yanked on it. It popped right off. So I mean, to me, I don't like them personally.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Thanks, I appreciate that. I'm trying to make up my mind on this hose kit. Like I said, I'm convinced because of all the hype, and maybe I shouldn't buy into the hype. I mean, the hoses I pulled off my car said Napa on them, and they weren't leaking. So
Don't drink the Ferrari red Kool-Aid, Doug.
yeah.
Hey, I tell you something else that's cool. I found this the other day. So I ended up putting all my fuel lines on, and at my filter it was leaking. So I said, well, I looked at putting just regular PTFE, sealant on there. I said, well, let me see if there's something better. So I found this called Gasoila. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Gasoila? No, where'd you get that from?
Yeah, so I bought it off eBay, but several other places have it. But it's a PTF a thread sealant that is made for ethanol and regular gas.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Man, it has been wonderful. I put that on there, let it sit overnight. Perfect.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of expensive. I think it's like $18 for that little thing of it. But,
yeah, that'll last you half a lifetime though. So.
Oh yeah, easy. But it says here specifically formulated for E10 and E85. But I mean, I just use it on mine, and so I would just try and see how it works. But oh man,
okay.
What's wonderful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, gentlemen, it's 1:30 in Cincinnati. I should probably think about. I have to get up tomorrow and make Mother's Day breakfast. Otherwise, I won't be allowed to do this anymore. Andy, thanks again for hosting. Always a good time. I'm going to let you guys play for a while. I'm going to sign off. Look for me on Facebook. Anthony, I think you sent a face request, so we're good to there. Remind me if I forget, because I will, about those caliper kits.
Yep, I'll hit you up, man. Thanks a lot, Doug. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
Doug, if you are available anytime, like in the afternoon or whenever you are, let me know, because I'm going to see if I can have some time to go down and play around with my wheels and whatnot and underneath my car, and maybe you might be able to point something out that I might miss. So
yeah, I do. Well, any of these guys are experts more so than I am. I'm more than happy to give you my opinion, but any of the guys here, and well, not that guy.
Thank you for shifting the blame there, Doug.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Not that guy down there. But we love to see another car on the road, and these guys have been wonderful. The Ohio Club for me, and even more, have been phenomenal for me to get my car back on the road 7-8 years ago. So we'll all help you out. We'd love to help out. So call me, FaceTime me or web messenger, or I don't know, it's fancy crap. Just hit the button and see if my phone rings.
Yeah. If not, I'll be posting online, and hopefully won't tear my car apart. Who knows?
You'll be fine. Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mason. See everybody. All right. See you.
Bye. Take care, dude.
See you, man.
See you guys.
Mason, that's about the best way to learn, though. You tear it apart if it wasn't working right to begin with. I mean, what's the worst you can do, right?
Make it turn into a brick, and then I can't get it anywhere to have someone actually work on it.
I guess opportunity.
Yeah, I just don't want to miss the opportunity of actually getting to enjoy it throughout the summer and it turn into a brick, and then I'm stuck with it till like the fall until I can get it somewhere.
Well, it's better than a fire.
That's true.
Like I said, I'm fine getting the hose kit, and if anything, I'd want to get the 13-piece hose kit with all the fittings on it, and then the bushings. I know everyone's telling me to go with Toby's. I'll get that, but I'm pretty sure I still need to get other bushings on top of Toby's kit. So I'm just trying to figure out what I need to order, because I'm going to do it tonight. So I just need to figure out where I'm buying everything. I'll buy it tonight, and I'll be like, okay, I'm done. Just get the car fixed, get it driving.
Out of curiosity, what's the reasoning of buying it tonight? I mean, nothing's going to ship until Monday. You've got all day tomorrow to make your final decisions and do more research and whatnot.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's an actual. Chris will probably be able to tell you. Is there a bushing on the stock lower control arm?
Yes. There's
Chris actually just sent me a message saying he'd help me with it.
See, the problem
I'm looking at the diagrams, and it looks like there's 2 bushings on the lower control arm. There's at least another 2 on the top upper, I believe. Then you got the sway bar with its 2 front bushings on the front of the car. So I'm thinking there's got to be at least like 10 or so on the whole front of the car.
There's also rear bushings on the upper and lower links on the rear suspension.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the suspension one there.
Is that the one that has like the metal ring on around it?
It is. It's got a washer that comes with it, and there's a
Polyurethane.
they're polyurethane. Yeah. So I was going to mention, if you go with polyurethane, make sure you get a lot of that energy suspension lube for it, because they will grip on there and it'll mess them up.
They'll
Okay.
squeak too, and it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, well, the polyurethane ones, I think, are the only ones Delorean Go sells. I think Delorean Go's got 1 or 2 of them that are the rubber, but they mark them as original, like set of 4 original bushings, and they're like $118 for like 4 of them.
I mean, you can buy the new old stock ones, but they remade all of those rubber suspension bushings. They're like $15 a piece now.
Yeah, I was gonna say those would be a lot cheaper. I don't see them on their website though, so I'm thinking maybe what?
They're there somewhere. Sometimes their search isn't as good as it should be. But
Yeah,
you should find them. So all of those
absolutely.
need a 20-ton press to push out. So you'll have to find someone with one.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's like an O'Reilly's or an AutoZone place that would sell a press. I know they have the ball pulling grabbers. I had that for my ball joints, or for my
You'd be better off at Harbor Freight for
Yeah,
something
you
like
can
a press.
buy one.
Harbor Freight. Okay.
And then return it when you're done and say it doesn't work. I'm just kidding.
Can do
That's where I
that
got
too.
mine at.
My buddies did that with their engine crane one time because it actually did start to leak, but they took it back.
It's
You've
Harbor
never
Freight.
pressed the ball control arm bushing out. You need don't try it yourself.
Well,
Especially on like a control arm that thin, don't try it.
It's tough.
I mean that's
Like-
why I'm sketch, and I'm sketched out about it. I don't know if I'm gonna break something because I haven't done it before.
You'll bend something is what'll happen. You need a sleeve on the back and stuff. You need extra parts to do it, right? You're not just gonna go buy a press and all of a sudden it's gonna press out, right? You need extra pieces to do it.
Yeah, you need different cups and receiving things and
Yep.
stock. I mean, you can
You gotta
use
do it yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know, but a car
well,
shop let me use their press a long time ago.
the other thing too is that my oh yeah, the radio thing that I had posted about with my Windows switches and all that. So I figured out that I guess one of my Windows switches is starting to go bad because I'm getting a spark whenever I try to trip the window switch and it wasn't moving the window. I swapped it with the driver's side switch, worked fine. And then my driver's side one worked fine with the bad switch. So I switched them back to their original positions and it worked fine again. So I'm guessing the switch is just faulty and it's getting ready to go. My radio situation, I mean, I was posting online like I couldn't hear anything out the left side of it. It was I guess I put the knob on wrong and it was in the full. So it was just going all to one side. But the balancer on that thing, I swear to God, you either go left side, left side, left side, left side, left side, right. Like there's no like middle. You have to be very delicate with that balancer. But yeah, that was my problem
Big
there.
radio in the 80s, it's not good.
Hey, once I get it there, it's there. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the other thing, I think I can't remember who his name was. Someone was helping me out with my fan blower because my fan blower apparently just stopped working. But I checked continuity on the breaker. I checked continuity on my lines. All that checks out. So I'm guessing it's the actual motor just bit the dust.
Could be the resistor too.
Yep.
Hey, is there a resistor somewhere on the line?
Does it function at any speed?
No, it doesn't function at any speed. The
Is it
vacuum works.
unplugged?
Nope, it's unplugged.
Okay.
I checked it. So the only thing that I can hear my vacuum lines wheezing out air, but that's a bad O-ring. It's just, at least I know that works. But I can turn the whole dial between 1 or 0 to 4. Nothing. It just doesn't.
Hear any of the relays clicking when you go to 3 and 4?
There's no clicking or anything from what I can hear. I just hear it go click like it's clunking into place, but I don't hear any electrical click.
Huh. And it just all of a sudden started doing that?
It literally was working fine throughout the whole day when I was taking it to work, and I drove over to Illinois, worked with some clients, and literally got back in the car for the drive home and tried to turn it on. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I realized my window wasn't working either. And then I got home. It's like 3 different electrical things kind of happened all at once. So I don't know. It was just acting weird.
Well, boys, I think I'm going to hop off. I got to get some sleep.
All right. All right, Josh. See ya.
Y'all have a good night.
See you, man.
Adios, Parsons.
Adios.
See you, John.
I'm gonna jump on him too and say I'm out too, guys. I gotta get up early, so it's been a good time. Andy, thanks again for hosting. It was a good first time for me. So you guys.
All right, I'll see you next week, Anthony.
Nice meeting you, Anthony.
Yes, sir. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a bunch of weird electrical stuff that just happened out of nowhere. But now I've narrowed it to just the blower motor thing is the only thing that's really wrong.
Yeah, take the blower motor out and put it on a 12-volt source and see if it spins.
No, I'll try to find something I can jerry rig it to make it run on 12 volts and see what it does.
Those.
Do you have a test light?
You know what? I'm about to go down to Harbor Freight first thing tomorrow morning, regardless it's Mother's Day, and buy a test light. Everyone tells me to buy a test light, and I have yet to do that. And I need to go.
They're like $5.
I know. I just haven't thought about going to get it.
Take your 20% off coupon with you.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause I probably can get that right now, actually.
He comes back with a press and all these things. It's like, well, what? I had the coupon.
As well. But I guess I'll get up tomorrow morning and take off the wheel and check everything and see if anything moves. And I'll either bug Chris or one of you guys or Doug or somebody tomorrow. Get somebody to help me out. But I'll have to figure that out. I still have to hear back from my mom to figure out what she's doing. She's out of town with all of her. Apparently, she's hanging out with some of her girlfriends and doing stuff out of town. So I don't know when she's going to be back tomorrow.
Well, I unfortunately need to tend to the baby. He's hungry, and it's now technically Mother's Day, so I don't have the heart to wake her. So I'm gonna hop off here for the night, guys. I'll catch y'all later. All right, Andy. Thanks for everything as usual.
See you later.
See you, Justin.
See you guys.
Jesse, how'd your tapping go?
Wait, what?
Your tapping go? How'd the tapping of the bolt go?
Oh, they don't arrive until Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's that, eh?
little bit.
Okay. I teach high school kids how to tap. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, my only concern is going to be getting it, I guess, straight. But I mean, I think with the brackets underneath the rear window, they're all at an angle anyway, so it has to be threaded at a specific angle. Whatever, I'm just going to do my best.
It's such a small run that even if it's crooked, it'll still go in. Like, you don't want it to be, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's not a deep hole. It's not a real
right.
You know, it's just a little fucking. So even if it is off, it'll still kind of go. And it's super soft too. It's only a clip, right? It's just like tin essentially, so you'll be all right.
Right. I mean, I can't see it being any more than maybe like 3 millimeters. So
that's
whatever.
it, right? I've seen some crooked taps and kids screw bolts in them. Don't worry. Nice deep ones. Don't worry. It's good.
Drive it on home.
Full send.
Send it.
Yeah, send it. Is that a thing down in America? It's a thing up in Canada. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Yeah, it's a thing. Just gonna leave it at that.
You guys know who Larry Enticer is? That's a big thing up here. I think he's American though, the snowmobile guy. I think he's the one who says that, right? Isn't that his name? Get a sender.
Yep, fucking send it.
Yeah, just send her.
So Mason, what are you thinking about the car so far? You hadn't had it very long, right?
Oh, I've had mine since February of last year, so I'm just a year and a few months over my ownership with the car, and I still love it. It's like, but when something breaks on it, it happens like that, and then you're like, okay, you need to figure out. It's like you can't really catch it building up to breaking on stuff. But it's like the electrical thing; it just kind of happens. So again, one of the reasons why I want to do the fuel line thing is I don't want that to be a spontaneous surprise out of nowhere, because then that will be terrifying. So that's one of the big things that I want to get done on it. The roof box is the next thing. I brought the kit for that, and I'm working up the courage to figure out how to follow the instructions that they literally print for you to just drill holes here and here and do it. But I'm still too much of a chicken to do some of that, because I don't want to have to take apart my whole roof and then not know how to put it back together.
Well, speaking of that, what are you guys running for door struts right now?
PJ Grady.
That's what I got too.
Man, his is the best.
Are they any good? I had mine are like less than a year old, and one door kind of opens slow and stuff. I don't know.
My doors had the, what were they called?
Strong arms, are they?
No, they were like the original struts, and they opened maybe, I kid you not, 2.5 inches off the car. And the only thing I had is I had a local owner out in Illinois that kind of cut me a deal on a set of DMC struts, and I heard mixed reviews about those, but I think I wound up paying like just a little under $200 for a whole set, which was not bad. But he said that they were barely used. He had them, and then he went with PJ Gray struts, so he just gave them to me. I was missing, apparently I had like 2 sets of front hood struts and just the door struts, so I was missing the 2 rear ones for the louvers, but whatever. I put the door ones on there. Those worked fine. However, I immediately, going into the winter season, they did nothing. Like as soon as it got cold, they were all wonky, and unless they were heated up, they wouldn't do anything. So I'm probably gonna get the stainless steel DeLorean Ghost struts if I want to be fancy. But
I had really good luck with Rob's struts, especially in cold weather. Back in, I think it was back in November, I had a gig that Andy sent me for a video shoot. And that night when we were filming, there was multiple scenes, but our final scene, I happened to notice that, it was sub like 15 degrees. And whenever I'd like open the door, it would start creaking.
That's what mine's doing.
Yeah, and at that point, like it would open up about 85% of the way, right where the soft lift feature would come in, but soft lift feature didn't work. But still, it held up the door. I just pushed it up. It held perfectly fine. It's like, okay, whatever. I can't really fault the strut because it's cold as balls out,
Yeah, I mean that my door's creaking though, but from what and again, I thought the creaking was more of a structural issue, because I think that's why I think something's going on with my roof. I kind of looked underneath that back trim to see if my roof was separate. It kind of looks like it is at some high points and then it isn't in some other points. So I just got the roof box kit and the strut reinforcement kit, because I figured that's what the creaking was. If you go out in warm weather and you let the car sit outside for 20, 30 minutes and you try opening the door, then you don't get any creaking. But you let it cool down, you hear like the actual back T-panel just pop, 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 and then it stops. So I thought it was like the fiberglass expanding or something.
Okay, well, as far as the creaking goes, could possibly be your strut, but with the T-panel popping, I mean, something's catching. You're going to want to look into that.
Right.
I mean, something might be offset.
Well,
Hey,
I think it's I think it's the ball joint on the where the strut connects to the actual body of the car. Instead of going straight out, it's doing this, and it's kind of bent back at an angle from the way to the door. So
I think DeLorean Go has a replacement of that guy, and I think it's cheap, like $3 or $4.
yeah, well, everyone told me that it's most likely not the ball joint; it's the brace on the other end of that's given, and it's causing that.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. I know, like mine, even with a car that's got 8,000 miles on it, mine were bent. And then I ended up changing out that mount with one of those Henninger mounts. But I mean, there's several other ones out there now where you can just pop rivet in a stainless steel piece that goes along that fiberglass. Because if you'll look on there, like if you ever take your T-panel off, you'll be able to see the cracks coming off of that mount that's on there.
Yeah, I guess if you have cracks on the fiberglass, do you just sort of just bolt on the new one and don't worry about it, or do you need to patch that or fill it or something with fiberglass?
No, I think the new ones, the way they do is it's got like 4 or 5 pop rivets that actually pop rivet a steel piece into the fiberglass there. Like mine had several little hairline cracks in the actual fiberglass. But the way that Henninger mount worked was it was actually a piece of steel that went on the bottom side and then had a tab that comes up and has the ball come out at that point. But all the new ones I've seen, it's like a big brace that kind of goes along the inside of where that fiberglass is.
Hey boys, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's pretty much time to call it quits. I know Andy's zonked out over there, and yeah, I think we need to go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, 1 o'clock here, guys. I gotta get up
Who was
early.
asking about struts? Was that you, Jason?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Were you asking about the struts?
Well, no, I was asking what everybody was running. I actually just got a set in a PJ Grady stuff, and man, it's top notch. I love it.
I have a parts list for all Stabilus part numbers. If anyone wants them, you can get them all. Original manufacturer,
Oh.
Sure,
Andy,
cool, guys.
I appreciate you doing this again, Andy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Happy birthday too coming up.
Yeah, birthday on Monday.
Yep. Whole cast of Back to the Future's getting together just for me.
Hey, you're gonna have to watch that on the Oculus Rift or whatever the fuck you got.
Oh, I didn't even think about doing that. That'd be
Dude, you should.
Yeah. All right,
Don't
gentlemen.
feel like you're actually there, Andy.
Yeah, there you go. I'll try to chat. Well, it'll be cool if I can get on the YouTube chat at least.
All right, Andy,
All right.
go get some rest.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Good talking to you guys.
All right.
All right. Later.
See you guys. Thanks again for all the advice from everyone. I'll be bugging everyone on Facebook tomorrow. So sorry about that in advance.
All good, dude.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Good night, everyone.
See you
Good
later.
night,
Night.
everyone.
Good night.